An overview. In Chapter 1, we'll talk about why skill building is important but insufficient on its own, and why the inner game is necessary for good decision-making in today's time. Today's leader needs conflict capacity, the result of which expands a leader's courage to listen when it's difficult, get curious when they're certain, and practice critical thinking when it's easier to follow the crowd. In Chapter 2, we explore how identity drives behavior. On social media, it's pretty easy to see what someone identifies with most, whether it's gender, race, politics, women's rights, religion, healthcare, country, or any combination of identities. I'd venture to say that what we identify with the most creates the most vulnerability when that identity is questioned or threatened. Observe conflicts on public forums and you'll notice that very few people are curious about opposing views. The truth is, very few of us are willing to consider another point of view when we feel threatened, discounted, or violated. That's why it's important for leaders to understand how to spot distractions and gain leadership clarity instead of resorting to appeasing or aggression when difficulties arise, and to model civility and curiosity. Chapter 3 presents a method to help leaders gain leadership clarity. How can a leader make good decisions when they can't describe the current situation, can't articulate the intended outcome, and don't understand the perceived or real obstacles? You can't change a situation if you don't understand it, and you can't help someone get what they want if you don't understand them. Without clarity, there is no alignment. Leadership clarity helps leaders make aligned business decisions. My goal with Chapter 4 is to do some myth-busting around anger. It's common for clients to confess to me that they have an anger problem. If you struggle to self-regulate, or if you work with a hothead, this chapter sheds some light. You'll see that anger has its place and that managed emotions produce decisive, purposeful action versus destructive, self-serving action. In Chapter 5, we'll look at conflict from a different lens to realize that not every issue is about personality. Sometimes the conflict is due in part to the visible and invisible structures that invite conflict. We'll explore the ways in which leaders can shape structures, invisible and visible, to determine the behaviors they want to see. In Chapter 6, we get to the heart of dealing with negativity, game playing, excuses, blaming, and other dysfunctional behaviors that hamper productivity and waste time. You'll learn how to quickly identify pockets of resistance. For anyone working with a difficult colleague, a complainer who doesn't want your advice, or a closed-minded coworker, this chapter offers strength training you can use in multiple areas of life. If you need to initiate a difficult conversation but don't have the skills or don't know where to start, Chapter 7 offers a complete blueprint of where to start, how to think about the conversation, and how to promote accountability. You'll learn how to use intention to guide the conversation so that you aren't talking just to document, but to inspire and support the employee to improve performance. Chapter 8 is about the greatest power we all have, the power of choice. One of my aspirations is to help people become the creative force in their own lives. As long as we buy into a victim narrative, we imprison ourselves. Leaders have a new choice to make, the choice to see the value in each human being and help them realize their own power through their choices. Many of our daily conflicts would end if we could recognize the power of choice. Conflict mismanagement is a problem, but there's a big opportunity for leaders to become change agents. As a leader, you aren't going to solve world problems or make people change their habits on social media, and you probably won't convince someone to see politics, religion, or world events differently if they aren't open to a conversation. What you can do is model the behavior of one who knows how to manage conflict so that you can build trust, collaboration, and inclusion, a real sense of purpose and belonging, so that mismanaged conflict doesn't escalate in your own workplace.